Up on the roof again? Well, this time I wanted to show you what we talked a little bit about yesterday. As you can tell, there's these three covered holes here. This one, as you can tell, does not have this type of form factor around it. So when you look at the roof rack, it's sitting in a slot built for some sort of a rack. So this would be your rack screw hole here. These are going to go down into the cab. If you look across the van, you'll see correspondingly that we have the solar going in this hole, and Ford had, I think it's XM radio antenna on top there. The other thing I want to show you on the roof is, you'll notice there is no vent fan yet. So we've had this van for quite a while and I haven't put a vent fan in yet. If you look at all of the videos, you will see that one of the first things they do is put a vent fan in. The reason I haven't put my vent fan in is because I'm scared to death. So that is a project that will probably be happening here within the next few weeks. Wish me luck. The final thing I wanted to show you on the roof was the solar panels again. Solar panels here, as you can tell, flexible. I put the link to the flexible solar panels in the first video, but these flexible solar panels are, in my opinion, awesome, right? I don't have to screw into the roof. I can just mount them down with some, I'm going to call it two-sided tape, but I'll get the name for you later, and make sure that the cables don't fly around with sealant, lap sealant. So let's go inside and do that inside tour we talked about. All right, coming back to the inside tour, as you can see, nothing special in the cockpit, just a standard Ford build out. Ford does a good job. They give you a couple USBs and some 12 volts. That's kind of nice, but nothing special there. The plan is to put in a swivel seat for the passenger side. As you can tell, we could never get a swivel seat into the driver's side because of the way the sink and cabinets are. Ignore the mess in the sink, please. But also because of the way that the brake handle sits, in order to clear that, you have to get the seat up pretty high, and then you drive really high, and it becomes annoying from everything I've seen on the internet. Now, next thing you'll notice is we have no ceiling. Right now, all we've got is insulation board. And it is stuck up there with expandable foam, as well as adhesive, spray adhesive. Okay, so we've got some wires run in anticipation for LED lights in the ceiling. Looking down a little bit, we've got our walls. We've got some things hooked up into the wiring, like that dimmer switch. It is a dual dimmer switch. We'll have lights in the back, lights in the front, and each side will control the lights either in the back or in the front. Okay, we have an Polyiso fridge. It's not a Dometic. People love Dometic. Nothing wrong with Dometic. I love Dometic. But I think you have to get what fits for you, and whether you get a Dometic or whether you get a dorm fridge or whether you use a Yeti cooler, right? Just depends on what you plan on using your van for. So for us, this 12 volt Polyiso is awesome. And let me lift it up. Okay, right now I've got it probably too far under, but probably the next video, this will be built into a box on sliders. Now you may be wondering, well, what are those metal things? And that is the bed frame. We used, I think they're called Skorva, but somebody can correct my Swedish, but bed slats from IKEA, and bolted them into oh man, now I'm really doing a bad job narrating. I can't remember the name of that aircraft mounting system. I'll look that up as well and put it on the list. But basically, we have 2 pieces of plywood that sit on top of that, and our mattresses rest on that. Finally, on this side in the back, we've got our power system. Let me try to get down there. 2 Renogy 200 amp hour batteries, which would give us, really, if you run it down to 50%, 200 amp hours of battery. Over here, we talked earlier about the solar panels coming into the van. They come behind this wall. I know a lot of people tell you not to put it behind the wall. L-Track, by the way, it's called L-Track, that mounting system. And they'll tell you not to put it behind the wall, but frankly, that was the best place for us to put it. And here's our MPPT controller, charge controller. And the final thing I want to show you is there's these cables just laying here. We got an inverter charger from Renogy and had to return it because you couldn't reset the ground fault interrupt circuit. So that was weird. But Amazon came and picked it up, and we'll have a new one here pretty soon. So these walls will be finished out. They'll be painted. As you can tell, there's carpet laying around because we're carpeting the garage. Probably no reason to worry too much about what that looks like. Just make it look like a garage. And then over here, we've got cabinets from IKEA. And our first trip out, we had it on a strap, and the strap undid itself from over there and ripped off a piece of this door, so we have to get a new door from IKEA. This one is on a different type of childproof latch to keep it closed. Hold on, I gotta use my right hand. And we'll have handles on these as well because it's got one of those IKEA secret drawers, right? So we couldn't put a childproof latch here with the IKEA secret drawer. There just wasn't enough room, so we've got this not too bad looking solution here. Didn't need my right hand there. Grabbing one of the child magnets. I still have the 3M on it. As you can hear, it just unmagnetizes the cabinet and you can open it. Now, I'm not sure without the handles on, I can open this with one hand, so I'm going to pause you, open it, and show you what it looks like. All right, and we're back. So we've got a 5-gallon jug that carries fresh water, and then we've got this see-through gray water tank. This is a composite sink. This is a pretty cool handle, right, if you wanted to spray something off, but you still want to keep it in the sink. And then all of that is connected underneath with a little filter trap, right, in case you get something in your water. And finally, this is a quick connect release on the fresh water, so when you want to fill up fresh water, just quick connect it and you don't get leaks. Closing the drawer real fast. Yeah, hold on. We'll come back to that. Anyway, closing the drawer would expose the foot pump, right? So the water uses a foot pump to get it out of the blue water container and up through the sink, or up through the faucet, I should say, into the sink. And then finally, once we get our roof on, our ceiling on, I should say, is we'll have a blackout curtain. We got a curtain rod from IKEA as well. It's going to go across here, and you'll just pull that blackout curtain across. One last thing, let me show you in the back. So here's the back again. You know, a lot of people put their display devices where they can see them in the van. I'm not one of those people. I don't think I need to see it that bad. Yesterday we talked about the 30 amp coming in. That's not wired into anything yet. That would be wired into the inverter charger, which would charge the batteries and would also take the DC and turn it into AC. And finally, this would be our garage, right? So here's the bed sitting on top of the rails, and underneath will be the garage. We'll see if we can fit a bike in there. And finally, we've got these Reflectix windows. wrapped in cloth. They just come down like so, and they just go back up and magnetize in place. And there's one for each side, so the one over here is sitting right there. Insulation wise, we talked about the Polyiso. As you can see, probably up there, you see a lot of that Rockwool shoved into places, little places like that. And then there's Noiko, sound deadening, and you can see a lot of videos on that on the internet on how to install that, but you don't wrap the van in that, you just put it in key places to minimize your noise. So that's the interior tour, and hopefully we'll see you guys next week when I got the refrigerator on its pullout and a little box for the porta potty. Thanks again for watching. Bye. Okay, I think I lied. The one last thing I want to show you is we bought these, didn't make these, we bought these off the internet. What this is reflective sun insulation panels. We got one for the driver's side, one for the passenger side, and the important one is the one for the front windshield. So in Texas, as you know, the sun gets pretty hot. We want to keep the sun out as much as possible, keep the van as cool as possible. But even at night when it gets cool, that plus the privacy shade, that room darkening privacy shade, and the rear insulated panels or curtains or whatever you want to call them will keep the van cooler and or hotter depending on what the temperature is. Okay, now for sure we're done. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you on the next episode. Bye-bye.